And the topic of discussion today is moving from traditional to tech-based practice. I have with me Nishit Sethji from Bahrain.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon. नीतीश सेठ जी का इंट्रोडक्शन करने से हमको बहुत ही गर्व महसूस हो रहा है और ये सबस्ट्रेटल सॉल्यूशन प्राइवेट लिमिटेड जो कंपनी है जिसकी ये एमडी हैं और ये बिग डाटा एनालिटिक्स का काम करती है, डाटा विजुअलाइजेशन का, रोबोटिक्स एनालिटिक्स का, बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस का, डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन और प्रेडिक्टिव एनालिटिक्स का काम करती है। इन्होंने इस कंपनी को काफ़ी आगे बढ़ाया है। ये लास्ट 20 ईयर्स से इसमें है ताकि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, बैंकिंग, उसने सभी में इनका योगदान रहा है। मीडिया एनालिटिक के ऊपर भी काम किया इन्होंने, टीवी चैनल के साथ भी जुड़े हुए हैं और इनका कंसेप्ट जो गवर्नमेंट और प्राइवेट सेक्टर में भी काफ़ी अप्लाई किया जा रहा है। काफ़ी सुलझा हुआ इनका कंसेप्ट है, बहुत ही सुंदर ढंग से चीज़ों को करते हैं, प्रेजेंट करते हैं। हमको बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है इनको इंट्रोडक्शन करने के लिए। थैंक यू सर, आप काफ़ी अच्छे लगते हैं, काफ़ी स्मार्ट लग रहे हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। थैंक यू।
Let me give a quick introduction of Anil Bhandari ji, who is very known to us. We have seen him several times in Calcutta, and he is the Chartered Accountant and Company Secretary, re-elected to Central Council of ICI for the year 1920 and 21-22. He was also the Chairman of Western India Regional Council of ICI, the Chairman of Committee of Members Industry Business, and Vice Chairman of Internal Audit Standard Board. He is a member of Digital Transformation and Process Engineering Group of ICI, apart from being a member of many standing and non-standing committees. And I guess the stage is all yours to actually, guide us, because a lot of traditional practitioners are still, with the mindset of how we do transform. What should be the first step? How should we take this forward? How we really can move from traditional to a tax-based practice from a very, very, you have to start from the basement, I guess. So that's where we want the journey to be started. Over to you, sir. I'm very happy to introduce him in front of Eastern India in Calcutta. Dayanivas Sharma ji possesses 18 years of experience in the field of auditing, accounting, corporate restructuring, and other related financial management services. Overseen and managed large audit engagements during his stint at PwC. Is a certified forensic and information system auditor, certified by ICI. He is a coveted public speaker in the fraternity and an astute professional with exceptional focus and innovative mindset. His professional engagements across India and international market give a global outlook to the firm. He has been named among 70 young Indian visionaries operating in UAE. He is an elected member to the Central Council of ICI for the year 1922, appointed as a director of XBRL India and nominated to Quality Review Board of MCA. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
So welcome, Nishit. Pleasure to have you here. Nishit, I have known you for some time now, and I've known you since your ACL days as well. And I'm of course currently forgive me for my ignorance, but currently not sure what you're deep diving in Bahrain in, but I'm sure you would try and explain this to us, and also maybe your thoughts of the same question of you've seen the practice in the old era, and how do you see that shaping up maybe in a couple of minutes?
Thanks, Anil, and thanks to EIRC board and respected Central Council members. Anil, it's always been nice with you. I think it's almost 2 decades since I was in Mumbai and we have been meeting, and I really get always admired with your dynamic thoughts on the change in the profession, and you did a lot of initiatives. I too come like Mr. Sharma's family of chartered accountant. My father is practicing CA, and when I did my CA way back in 1996, I somehow was not chilling around, or I was not too happy carrying the calculators and green, blue, red pens in the pocket and doing auditing, vouching, reconciliation. I remember way back in 88, 89, when I was getting into graduation, we used to have Fox-based, Fox-Pro-based, table size desktop machines. And I used to tell my father, why are you using calculator when I can write a simple formula of quantity into unit price minus discount not equal to invoice amount? Because we used to have those DOS-based simple accounting. I'm not talking about ERPs of today. And that's where, once I cleared out, I got my certification. I just thought I need to move to a different area. I'm not here for this conventional style, and that's the way I started even working with ICAI, and I used to do visa classes, FAFC also. Before I move and share some of my live experience of the professional or chartered accountants, how they have done in the industry in last 15 years, I just like to start with a small, nice story. Being in Middle East as of now, it's the area where you have riches of the world and all the sheikhs and kings. So, like one of the great king wants to celebrate his only son's teenage birthday. He's happy he's getting 13, and he says, "Okay, let me invite Brazil, Argentina to my country and have the best football match." They are also quite football freaky people here. So he throws a party to the entire city. D-Day comes, people happy. Sitting in the stadium with his son, he looks at his son who's just sitting down, not excited, not happy, just 13 years old. He asks him, "Son, have I left out something for you?" He says, "No, you are the best father on the earth today. You have done and you have given lakhs of people happiness, food, everything today. They are enjoying it. But at the end, you are a mice." It's like a confusing statement, like auditors reporting out ledger balance do not match with balance sheet, but it is fair and true. So the father gets confused. He says, "I'm the best, but at the same time, I'm miser." He says, "How?" He says, "You have given so much to everybody, but imagine you are just given one football to 22 players and they are fighting with each other on the ground." So it's not that the kid is not understanding the thing. It is only that the rules of the games are changing. The style is changing. You need to just get accustomed to the new rules. I was just listening to this beautiful conference, and I was listening to a previous session where a lady was asking, "What should I do to, focus myself on IT-enabled professional development?" Let me tell you, with my 20 years with ICAI and interacting members, and it's lovely to be back to the Calcutta community and people there, we have a very huge myth that we are outdated. Let me tell you, it's not the case. Our experience, our seniors who have been in this line for last 2 decades, 5 decades, they hold such an amount of experience inside to the business, challenges of the profession, the assignments that we do, whether it is auditing, accounting, income tax, whatever we do. Technology is a tool. I always say technology is like a gun. It's a weapon. You need to know how to first aim at your target, what you want to shoot, what you want to achieve. I give you a small life case. There are two important things when we talk about analytics. Analytics is picking up now. People are talking about audit analytics. They're talking about artificial intelligence in auditing. And then I will give you another live case of Mumbai City. The most important thing is what you want to do. You go and ask any of your auditee, or there are a lot of corporate people here. If you ask the audit fraternity, they say, "Yeah, I want to look for duplicate payments. I want to look for duplicate vendors. I want to look for inventory, open POs, delayed delivery." They have a huge list of what I want to do. The second is a challenge question. It's always like a CA final question. Why you want to do it? That is where they get stuck. I want to look into duplicate payment to vendors. That is your background. Why? What you want to look? Why you want to look? What is an objective? The objective is, in my company, a vendor can take a payment by check. A vendor can be made payment by online. A vendor can put an invoice in one of my company code in SAP and can also put the same invoice in my another company code in the SAP. A vendor can supply my goods to Mumbai, submit the invoice there, and can also submit the invoice to my headquarters in Calcutta and can take the payment. Why is the reason is the most important thing which decides the success and failure of your audit analysis. Because your target that you are going to look to, what is your target? My target is my data. I'm not criticizing any technology. I'm all out of those big brands of IDEA, ACL, Analyzer tools things. I'm just talking about on the professional side. When I talk about on the data, that is my first target. I get a lot of calls from the very nice professionals. They say when we go to a client and ask for the data, they said, "अच्छा आप Excel में दे लीजिए." That is the first thing I always discourage. People might perceive me as an anti-Excel, but that's not the reason. Please revisit your auditing standards. International auditing standards or Indian auditing standards. With my limited knowledge, I've not been into standards much. We have somewhere in the standards clearly written, as an auditor, you have to be, first of all, very confident about the reliability of the source that you're going to verify while doing the auditing. So in the manual days, we used to ask for original bills, original payments and everything, and we used to put the color text, put an initial, and then we had the procedure. What happens in your electronic era? The concept remains the same. But if you take data in an Excel, what are the threats to you as an auditor? Easily, I can modify, replace the data. I don't say that there is a foolproof system unless and until any of your auditee says I can allow you a direct access to my data server. If that situation happens, you are the luckiest guy, which would happen hardly 1 or 2 in 10. But I need to make myself sure that at least I take the data in the basic format where modifying, editing becomes challenging. How are you going to play with the data? They are all level 2 things. The first level comes, do I have that 2 answers, what and why with me? Now, how the analytics is shaping, you will be surprised today we are in 2021. I'm giving you a case study of 2005 in Mumbai. Bar me for not sharing the name, because I don't have an approval from that eminent member. It's a huge corporate group, not one company, which operates internationally, and the gentleman is a group chief internal auditor, a chartered accountant. He says, Mr. Seth, I have SAP, I have Oracle, I have all the best tools that in the accounting systems that you want. I have been doing the same style of auditing, that every year beginning, I will make an annual audit plan, quarterly base, allocate to my team, and then they start planning the travels and everything. Can you give me a system which will give me an indicator what I should audit? This is what today people are talking, artificial intelligence, or they are talking today as robotic auditing, that the system would tell you these are your vulnerable areas, please focus on them. It took us almost 4 to 5 months. I personally sat on that project. And what we did was, we integrated. Now that gentleman was being a group CIA, he had certain authority. So he helped us out having an access, not to the production data, but to the backup data server, which was as good as production for us. But he had a direct access to the data. Nothing to do with the technology. Please get out of your mind that technology is complex, CAs cannot do coding and all that. Today, technology does not ask all those things. That I will tell you on the later part of it. We just linked out the data, took up their auditing, monitoring processes. What are they looking for? The same 2 answers. And mapping to the data, writing simple filters, we started giving them the reports. Sir, in your West India, South India, East and North India, these are your exceptions on various audit parameters. And if you look for the same quarter a year before, this was your exception. We took the output in a simple Excel. There is no harm taking output in an Excel. And we just did a simple matching of those 2 output, and we could easily generate out what is the trend of your exception. Did the exception go high or low in last 1 year? And wherever we found the trend was on the higher side, based on your previous history, we just projected what would happen in your Q2, Q3, Q4, depending upon the sales patterns, the weathers, the products that they're selling, and you could make out that simple algorithm over there. Only thing was, we just needed 2 to 3 years data at the back of it. And this particular module started giving him a valuable input, and based on it, he started making audit plans. This is a basic process when you say artificial intelligence in auditing means a system is telling in future there is a probability that this would happen wrong. Number 2 answer to it was, if you are putting some controls, because you had done some observation in past, you had certain exceptions, you took certain actions. The trend gave the idea to the group audit head, are your controls working effectively or not? Or are they going up, are they stable, or are they getting controlled? And if they get controlled, the exception starts going down, means your controls are working, it's a time that you should look to other areas in your audit. So you need not keep spending time. And this simple thing in 2005, which was taking 12 to 15 days for their audit team on their per branch in India and abroad, you will be surprised it came down to 3 to 4 days. Before the team could arrive for the audit, they knew all the exceptions, they knew what to target. So the target was clear and set, and they had the weapon, and then they would do their needful job. That is what is been very, very important thing. Now, another challenging, it's nice to know that disruptions do happen, but I always believe disruptions bring challenges. You see the simple life case, EIRC conference would have what 3 to 400, 500 people in the physical, has got more than 1500 or 2000 people listening to it. It's a disruption which has made your reach, knowledge, reach to certain members and places who would have missed out otherwise. So disruption always for me brings more challenge, and it brings good challenges, positive challenge even for our profession. One of the latest coming thing is today we talk about something like core banking. I think it's almost 2 decades. I remember since year 2000 we started hearing the Union Bank of India, Punjab National Bank going with core banking, and core banking has matured to digital banking, digitalized banking rather. You know what's the next challenge? Digital banking. A digital banking which has started kickoff in the internationally is now going to soon enter India also, and possibly we may not see the physical too many branches. I won't say zero, too many branches. And people would be able to do all of most of their banking in a very digital form, and there would be like a virtual or digital bank here. Singapore has started giving license for digital banks. So if the trend has started, wait for another 5 to 10 years, India would also be moving or faster than that. People might feel that the bank audit goes off, so what we will do? Please rightly look into it. Will open up more opportunity because you know what is banking,
So
you know vulnerability.
Nishit, what? Yeah, I think I get a good view and summarization of what you're trying to say. So we spoke about case management. We spoke about practice management. We spoke about maybe a ticketing system to track your own tickets, make sure that you're efficiently handling it, and maybe this could be then used to even tell a client whether his job has happened or not. Anything that you think would be able to help a client extend his practice management and his that area? We'll come to how do you use tech to do a lot of other stuff, but how do I solve the basics right for our members first? Anything else that you would like to suggest around these areas?
Yeah, thanks, Anil. I would say, like for our profession, my main practice or my experience has been in and around consulting and auditing. And as you know, the things like data is a new oil of the auditors and accounting profession. As you rightly said, what are the low-hanging fruits? I think with now the ICAI having across the country fantastic e-labs, IT infrastructure in place, we need to start with, for the members, something called, industry application oriented analytical practical programs, not theoretical, practical, where beyond journal analytics, we need to tell, okay, if you are getting into an SAP, you are looking into procure to pay, you're looking into inventory management, order sales. These are your ways you have a best practices. We can easily bring on this platform global best practices. Technology neutral, any member is free to use those kind of things on any tools or any weapons they like to have.
So is that something that you would like to suggest for our members able to do their audits faster? Do you have something? I mean, it could be any tool. For example, I just take the ledger accounts of people and I want to run it through so that I do my job a little faster. Do you have any suggestions around it?
Yes, what we can do, I think members, I can offer myself. That's not been a problem. I've been there with the institute in past also, where we can collate out the practical experience of the profession together and bring out something and say, okay, in the automated era, there are these ready fruits which you can pick up like a ready-made packets, boil it in the water, and you can open the pack and eat it. I give you one example. SAP holds almost more than 65% of global and India market on ERP system. More than 65. So that's the largest used application. Now SAP is also moved into MSME sectors also. It's not only large corporates where you will have the big CA firms. So small ones are also encountering it. In SAP, if we look to the data structure at the back, 95% is vanilla type across all the users. You be manufacturing, retail, media, anything. If our members with the past experience and the knowledge collated is being provided a ready-made thing, see in SAP, these are the tables, these are the fields, we provide you that ready-made information, 95% it would very well apply. We can start giving those kind of audit solutions to it and just train
Fantastic.
them.
Yeah.
Do not make them dependent on anybody. Now,
So
I
would you
have a
have
tool.
would you have some Excel macros or something like that that you would have done before, which
Yes,
you would like to suggest to members where, okay, if I'm
yes,
doing an SAP audit, if you take a dump of maybe say 5,000 SAP tables, you'll be able to come out with some reports. Do you have something like this done ever before?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Fortunately, in last 24 years, yes, worked in India and abroad. So if I talk about SAP, yes, that's one area where I can happily and professionally support. Number two is a very critical part which I like to propose since I have two eminent central council members on this platform. We have excellency centers with ICAI. We have no dearth of resource on technology today. We can set up a research or a dedicated kind of a e-hub where we can continue doing research and development.
So just moving on from making our members a little more efficient and helping them to do their repetitive task faster, let me try and ask these specific questions around our other practice lines like GST, tax, audit. If there's anything that we can do around technologies in and around these areas like GST, can I use some tools and technologies to make it faster, better? For my tax, for example, tax filing could be one. Tax cases and coming out with opinions could be another one. Could be several things. Nishit, do you have any experience around getting this out quickly for our members so that anything that they have done in the past that could just become a 10-minute job for them or a 20-minute job for them?
To be honest, not on the taxation side, but what I would just add might be a bit off the track to what Mr. Sharma said was like, yes, if you're looking out for collating that knowledge and bringing it out, whether on Excel or anything, we can surely have application-based kind of consolidation where we can give a plug and play kind of things to the members at a much reasonable price, like what costing Mr. Sharma said for IDEA. He has that wonderful deal with ICAI. Imagine if with that license you say to the members, here I give you modules and you just plug and play in this environment and it will start giving you reports.
Fantastic.
That makes a lot of sense.
So taking this discussion forward, now is the time that let's discuss about how can technology create a differentiator in our practice. One is we are able to, of course, organize our practice. These are low-hanging fruits. But how do we use technology to create a disruption in the market? So again, Nishit, maybe starting from you, just give us one small example where you could have created a large impact and provided a solution using your functional knowledge and technology knowledge, and the outcome would have been very good, either in consulting or whatever. We want our, the objective is that we want our practicing members, of course, to use technology, but to use technology and deliver something in the market, something completely different, which will, of course, enable them to make a lot of money. What are these avenues in short?
See, the number one game changer would be that we train and make our members move from doing something to 100%. Today also, most of the audit consulting that we are doing, we are always coming out without naming even the best of the firms. They say we took a sample and we did that part. Why? If I can process 5 million records per second speed, I will not even think about doing something. That is one. We can help our members immediately to migrate from this level. That will surely give a better observations, better reporting, and the clientee or the auditee would be happy to see the better insight. Number two is we need to also upgrade and train our members how to start thinking beyond the conventional thought process. Let me give you one small case study. You might think in 2021, I'm talking about old case studies, but they are still relevant today. If you remember in 2003-4, when the SOX came because of Enron in US, there was section 404 in the SOX, which says, as an auditor, you are supposed to look into audit and certify that transactions are done by authorized people. And you remember the best of the jobs in the world were done by who's who of the fraternity. What were they doing? They were looking into the ERP systems, they were looking segregation of duties and all those, and they said, yes, everything is in place, fantastically done. Just like a good friend of yours who picked me up in Bangalore, and he says, "My is a US entity. Can you suggest me something different?" And he said, "I'm stock certified by one of the international firms, and it's a Nasdaq listed." I said, "Okay." I studied its system. You know what I did only was, I said, when your employees are entering your office, they have RFID plastic cards. Now you have biometrics, doesn't make a difference. They swipe their card. He said, yes, we have the HR rules. By 9:15, outermost 9:30, they have to be in. After 9:30, we treat them half day. Fantastic. When they reach to the desktop, what they do? They open the laptop, desktop, type in the Windows login ID password. Yes, sir. They were talking about work from home. Today we are talking because of COVID. They were talking in the general practice as work from home. How do the people work from home got into the system as we get today? Open the laptop, connect to the internet, type in your remote access VPNs, and you type login ID password. Again, the same Windows server will authenticate you, whether you are a legitimate user or not. Once all these things are done, your employee has entered at 3 different locations: RFID, Windows, and remote. And these are the 3 locations from where people are inside the system now. Now, what I did, I picked up these 3 data and I said, now give me your HR dump. And after that, what I did, I just found out how many people out of this are in an SAP system live. So I could get the 4th data, which is from SAP login server. These are the people who are in SAP. A simple relation to all these 4 will tell me how many people are not through VPN, are not physically in office, but they are present in my SAP. Because please remember, even in 2021, these 4 sources do not talk to each other. Technically, the data does not talk to each other. A simple relation of these 4 tables, I just focused and said, here are your employees in the system who should not be there, and this is what they are doing. And Anil, the exposure was $183 million. Midnight, 2 o'clock, the management woke up to it. How did this happen? And we are SOC certified. Number 2, I give you another very simple case study. We talk about a lot of fraud happening nowadays, forensics, and you keep on having it. I was a part of certain investigations on the frauds also, being in the forensic committee. You know what are the simple tools that I use? You don't need any rocket science for it. You just need a mindset to do it. And that's where I feel my professional brothers, sisters are the best in the world. I just put a simple condition to find out, because when you are in a corporate, you are in a network, you have an IP number to your laptop or desktop. Every laptop has an IP number. Even I'm now logging from Bahrain, I have an IP number to my standalone laptop also. What I did was I just fired a simple duplicate to find from one IP number how many multiple logins happened. The company under the investigation did not have any SOD violations. Everybody was doing within the limit. But I could find out in less than 5 minutes in one system, multiple logins happened. That means it was one person who logged in, logged off, and processed the POs, payments, approvals, everything.
Fantastic.
That's the way, if our members start thinking on the data, we will surely add a lot of value.
Fantastic. I think that was a wonderful last response. I know we are short of time and time is of constraint. So we would, I think I'll just summarize saying that I think it's a great opportunity for our members to improvise their processes. I think there's a great opportunity for our members to use technology to deliver services in the market, which is actually a larger practice than just simple tax or audit or whatever. And I think thereby putting up this excellence center in Hyderabad, getting it renovated, spending some money, investing there, and getting our members to write bots, which could be useful to all our practicing members, is also a fantastic initiative by the Institute. I know you've been putting a lot of time and effort on this, so an excellent job done there. And Nishit, thank you so much for all your comments, truly valuable, and we will pick you up as an pick up on your thoughts as an institute and make sure that we try and get some things done for our members. So I think, Sanjeev, this is back to you, but I think we've got some fantastic opportunities for our members, which of course we can deep dive a little later. Thank you so much.